Welcome to Straight Out of Savannah, Talking with Tammi, a podcast that showcases people you may not know who are choosing to use their gifts to inspire and move the planet. Straight Out of Savannah. Welcome.
Okay. All right. Thank you for joining. This is my guest, Lenita Cornett, and I'm so excited that she's decided to join me and talk about what it is that she's doing to transform the planet. Lenita, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello, and thank you, Tammi, for having me. So I just like to let everyone know that I am the founder and conscious leader of Camouflage Mentor, LLC, which is my coaching practice. I focus on training, lectures, coaching and consulting. And with the coaching and consulting, it's personal development. So I focus a lot on emotional resiliency, overall well-being, but that's what I focus on. And then I've actually will be in business for 2 years. And so the individuals that I serve ambitious, career-driven women that are ready to create a new normalcy of breaking up with perfectionism and burnout so that they can achieve emotional freedom. So that's what I do. I also am in the military, active duty, 23 years.
Awesome.
Yes. So I am just, I just been fortunate and blessed to serve in different capacities, for the military. I'm in the U.S. Army, and I'm just to the point now where I want to serve in another capacity outside the military. So that's what I dreamed of doing over 2 years ago. And I said, hey, God gave me this vision. I just want to make it happen. And so that's what I'm here doing. So
that is awesome. I was actually going to ask you that, what actually drove you to it? What was the point that you said, you know what, I can do this for myself? Because I'm sure that being in the military for over 20 years, that you have soldiers that serve under you and that you've done training and stuff like that. So what was the point that you got to where you said, you know what, I need to take my gift that I have gotten out into the world to help other people?
So, it had to have been at least when I hit the 15-year mark. I actually had this feeling was like, there's something outside the military. So it's like, I love the military, but that's not all of me. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to express something outside of the military because that's part of me, but it's not my identity. So I wanted to do something else outside of that, find something that, what are the things that I love doing? So then I could actually focus on that. So then when it's time for me to transition, then I'm not so feeling stuck like a lot of our military members and veterans, how they feel, before they transition. Yes. And so that's what got me as far as like wanting to do something outside the military. And it started, I actually made it happen in January of, I'm trying to think of the years, 2 years ago. So it had been 2017.
Okay.
January 2017, I actually invested in a coaching program. So which, I don't know if you know, money coach Danielle Winningham.
Okay, no.
Yes. So she's actually in Texas, and she's well known in that area. And she's actually going all over the world now doing the Best Life tours. And she's a money coach, and she focuses on making money, a lot of streams of money, put it that way, streams of income. And
nice.
So she actually had a coaching course called Quit Code for coaches. And so she had different varieties. But when I did that one, I said, Lord, this could be something, to start me, get me started in my business. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I just want to just do something. So I did it for like, it was 90 days. Actually, I think it was like 16 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then after the 16-week mark, I was like, okay, I gotta do something. All the stuff I was learning. I just didn't want to sit on it because you know how we do.
Yes.
We end up doing something and then we sit on it and then it never happens. So I was like, you know what? I've done all this in the military. When, you know, when I get orders, people tell me what to do, leaders, I do, you know, what they tell me to do. Now it's time for me to take control of my life and actually do something outside the military. So I said, let me go ahead and form up my LLC and go from there. And that's what birthed the Purple Camouflage Mentor LLC.
That is awesome. So now, do you also focus on veterans? Because I hear that you have a passion for the military, and also that you see the big picture with when the veterans get out, you know, it's difficult for them to transition into the real world, because, you know, we all know that the military is its own world, you know, and there are ways that the military does things that the civilian world just does not follow through with. So is that a part of your vision or your mission, is to help the veterans as they transition in your coaching?
So as of right now, I actually don't have an actual branch for that yet, but that is in my vision for Purple Camouflage Mentor, is to provide that service for veterans, for those that are transitioning and for veterans, because you still have a lot of veterans that still, it's hard for them to deal with the civilian sector because they've been in the military for so many years, and it's hard for them to I don't want to use the word transition, but it's like you've been doing something for so long and you've actually had a way of living,
Yes,
to where that it changes, and even the people around you, the way they see things is not the way the military community sees it. And
right.
so it makes you feel like you're out of place. And so it's in my heart, you know, for me to actually partner up with veteran organizations that support veterans, because that's definitely what I want to do, but then also provide services for veterans. But my focus really would be that transition phase.
Yes.
As far as, you know, not the job portion, the career portion, but more of, you know, who you are, you know, you having your own identity.
Yes.
Those type things is what, you know, I want to focus on for military.
That's awesome, because, you know, that is definitely a needful service, because being I'm actually a military wife, and I've been one actually twice. But my current husband retired from the military, and I hear him say all the time, you know, about how the civilian sector is different. And, you know, and he tells me a little bit about, you know, his journey and how he had to look at things even differently when he got out, because the military trains you in a certain way and the civilian world is not that way. And so that was why I asked if that was something that you thought about, because there are lots of them. And to be perfectly honest with you, between my divorce and my remarriage, I dated a lot of military veterans, and that was some of the complaints that they had. They were like, oh, you know, people do things so differently out here, you know, and being a civilian, it was hard for me to understand until I had a couple of them break it down and just share with me, you know, how that works, because, you know, the military has the systems, and it's not always systems in the civilian world. A lot of times people have no clue what they're doing, you know, and I know it's hard for them to adjust in that way. And something else I wanted to talk about that you talked about a couple of times was the identity part. Can you expound on that and what that means to you as far as helping people in your coaching practice?
Yeah, so for the identity piece, it's more of the getting down to, you know, peeling the layers back of knowing exactly, you know, what are your likes, you know, what are your dislikes, you know, because when you're in the military, you tend to, I mean, you've given training. It's like a manual. You get all this training on how to conduct yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got a schedule, you have a routine, and you have your own field specialty, you know, and with that field specialty, which is your job, is that really what you want to do?
Right.
Is that really what you love? You know what I'm saying? Some people end up retiring and doing the same job, but that's not what they want to do, really.
Right.
They're afraid to step out of their comfort zone, but they rather do something that's simple and easy. I don't want to say simple, but they rather just go to something that they already know.
Yes, yes.
Because you know what I'm saying? And so, but that's not your true calling. That doesn't mean that's your true calling that God wants you to do. Yes, you served and you've done everything you want. Even if you do 5 years, you did your 5 years, but that does not mean that God wants you to continue on that same path. It might be something else for you, but don't just settle for, this is what I did for so many years and I'm just going to stay on this path.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just want to take the easy way because it's easy. But if you just, step out your comfort zone, what are your likes? What are those things that you love to do?
Right.
Who are you? Because the military, I go by my experience, and that's why it's so important that people really peel back the layers for themselves. Like, it's more of that inner work you got to do. Because for me, I was very timid, shy when I first joined, of course, and me being an introvert at heart, I'm still an introvert, but I've had to learn how to communicate in different ways now because, it's just the nature of the beast being in the profession that I'm in.
Yes.
And so, it just becomes a challenge when you're pretty much doing that, and you end up, like, for me, I ended up being this, how can I say, I don't want to say, I'll say it, a little bitch at times when I was in my younger days.
Yes.
Because I ended up being somebody I wasn't. I was trying to be this aggressive, hard charging, in your face, you can't tell me what to do, or if I tell you to do something, I'm gonna bark orders to you. All this masculine energy is what I inherited. You know what I'm saying? And everything I used to do, it kind of pushed to the side, and I was like, okay, well, this is how I have to be. But that wasn't how I was supposed to be, though.
Right.
But since I saw everybody else doing it, I ended up doing it. But it took me training and leadership and just getting myself groomed and being, I had some good leadership, I had some bad leadership, but going through that process and just being a woman, it's the shifts that I had to go through. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say, sometimes people end up being something that they're not, so then you've grown into this, you've done it. Mm-hmm. And then you leave, and then you end up trying to do the same thing in another environment. It's not going to work.
Right.
It's not, you know what I'm saying? So who are you? And that's why I say that, because it took me, I actually started doing mindset work on transition years ago, just mm-hmm. because I knew, hey, I have to, and I know that even when I transition out, when my time comes, I'm still going to have a hard time because of the fact that I've been in the military for so long. This is my family.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But to actually know what I love to do, to know my talents, to know my skills, to really exercise it now and not wait and try to figure it out later. Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of it. It's like, you don't have to wait until you retire to be like, hey, now I love to write, but I didn't do it for 20 years. No, why don't you write now? What's wrong with you writing and learning how to write now? What's wrong with you? If you love poetry, you continue to write poetry. You don't have to just lay it down just because you're doing your job for the military. And so that's really what's really on my heart, because a lot of the things that I love to do, I had it was just dormant for a long time because I put the military first. Because that's what we're exactly, that's our obligation. But at the same time, you have an obligation to yourself.
Yes.
The obligation to yourself is, who are you? Honoring yourself. Mm-hmm. And not just doing, yes, you're in the military, but you're doing everything else for the call of duty. But what about yourself? And we forget about ourselves because of that.
Yes.
And so
true.
That's the main reason why it's like I really wanted to focus on that piece, because I think for me, I feel like if you actually start that process, mm-hmm. the transition process is so much easier.
Yeah.
You're still going to go through some things, but at the same time, the process makes it's so much easier. So then it's not like you feel like you're just not, I don't even want to say you just out not even your comfort zone, but just being out of place.
Yes.
Because now you're doing the inner work for yourself and saying, hey, this is what I like, this is what I dislike, this is what, my gifts and talents are, this, you know what I'm saying? You're actually doing those things, working on yourself, knowing what your core values are, not your organization's core values, but your own core values.
Yes. It sounds like to me that you do a lot of things that I do. You want to help people to know who they are. You want to help people to be who they see themselves. And that's a part of what I'm hearing you say. And I don't know, okay, I'm gonna have to just say it because I see it. So I don't know if you thought about doing workshops and seminars, but I see you doing workshops and seminars. I don't know, it's like I just caught a glimpse of you putting on a workshop and seminar, especially, in the military community, and helping people to know who they are. Because just like you said, you have your training and they tell you who you are. And I can specifically remember this quote that one of my first husband's sergeants gave him. They said, the military didn't issue you a wife, because he was telling him he needed to get some time off because I was pregnant, and I think I ended up having a C-section, so he needed a few days because we were in Washington State with no family. And so they told him, one of the sergeants told him, said, well, the military didn't issue you a wife. And I thought, wow.
But
I was gonna say, but that was 30 years ago, probably a little bit different now.
Yes, the military has changed a little bit, but at the same time, though, we still have our duty that we have to do. You know what I'm saying? But it's like the military they have all these programs for us, for our overall well-being, for our health, for our wellness, all those type things. But at the end of the day, it's like mission first. It's like, okay, I got to go do this, I got to do that, but then what are we doing for ourselves though? Because we still end up we take care of everybody else, but we don't take care of ourselves. And I've seen it over and over and over again. I mean, like when I say I see it over and over again, it's like it's nonstop. It's always taking care of everybody else, but I'm not going to take care of myself.
Yes. To me, it's so similar to women. It's like women, we take care of everybody else. We put everybody else's needs in front of us. If you have a husband, if you have children, even if you have parents, especially because like the age where I am, a lot of my age group, we're having to take care of our parents because our parents are getting old, So you put everybody's needs in front of yours. And a lot of times what I'm seeing is a lot of women don't even know who they are, just like you're saying with the military. They have no clue. They don't even know what they like. They don't know what they want. And it's funny because I actually did a challenge in my group with that. I think it was a 3-day challenge or something. And it was like, I just asked, what do you want? And I just encouraged people to just write that out every day for 3 days. I did it for almost a month. That was my challenge to me. I just wrote on the top of the paper, what do I want? And at first it was difficult because you don't even think about what you want. You're so ingrained to think about other people and, what you need to do for them, what you need to do for your kids. Because, for me, my first husband traveled a lot. So I did a lot of stuff with my kids by myself because he was gone, and then we got divorced and stuff. So it was me. So I had to make sure all those roads were navigated and all that kind of stuff. But I only say that because I think about women, we don't even know what we want. It took me a long time. And I'm still actually going through it now. I'm still doing that challenge to myself. What do I want? And just sitting down and writing down things that I want and just doing things that I liked. Just actually saying, okay, I like movies. I love movies. And I can actually go to the movies by myself. I don't have any issues with that. I'll go to the movie, sit down, watch a movie, get me some popcorn and relax, And I had to start doing that because that was something that I liked, And so once you begin to see what it is you want, then you begin to have to start doing it, just like you said. I like that. And I'm so honored to be able to talk to you about that and help you to bring that mission and that vision forward, because people need that. Military especially, because that population is so much ingrained in them to do mission first and all that stuff. And so you don't even think about or know, especially if you've been in there 20 years like you have,
Right.
you just think about, this. And this is the one thing, for me, I love to work with guys that have been in the military, that have been military nurses, because they know how to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
They go systematically. And for me, that's how I do, because I don't like disorganization as far as when I'm working. And so the military guys, they're just like that. If they say, okay, we need to take care of this patient and do this, 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 and this, that's what they're going to do. They're not going to go off into, well, I don't want to do it, I don't like doing it. You're not going to hear all that whining, and you're not going to hear a whole bunch of mess. They're just going to go about it, and I love it. It's like, something that I love. But I can also see what you're talking about, how, they're so mission oriented till they don't even realize what it is that they want and where they want to go. Because I've seen it, just like you said. I have quite a few people that I know. They got out of the military, and now they're doing the same thing on like a contract basis that they did in the military, whether they liked it or not. Because in the civilian world, they're paying much more money than they made in the military.
Right.
For doing that same thing.
Right.
But they may not like it. And what I see on my end is that it starts causing all kinds of breakdowns in your body. You start having physical challenges, you start having mental challenges. I can't tell you how many people that I've gotten where I work at now, which is behavioral health, that used to be military, and they're having challenges here. And when you start talking to them and you get down to the nitty gritty, you see that it's basically from doing something they don't love and not honoring who they are.
Yes.
I'm excited about the fact that, that you're coming out here with this. And I don't know if you think about it, but, you could do like a nonprofit arm of the business that you have now, just specializing in that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. Because that's, I really want to do, I wanted to have one area to where it was focused solely on veterans or those transitioning. And I don't want to ignore the active duty, because it'll pretty much be for anybody that's,
right,
active duty or transitioning, or even veterans, because the services are needed, and you can't have enough. I mean, yeah, they have organizations out there right now that are actually providing services, but it's still not on that level. To everybody needs something different.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Some people are content, they're happy, they're good, but then you have some that need that extra care, and that extra care is what you don't see in some programs.
Exactly.
And so and I just have to go by my lessons learned and what I've been through in the military. And I know if I've been through this and I've seen my own battles go through it, I know there's even more service members, regardless of branch of service, that are going through the same thing.
Exactly.
So,
and that might be something that you want to, put on your vision board, or, on your notes, or wherever you put things to consider, because that's needful. And you'll actually even be able to get, government contracts in order to support that thing, if you do like a nonprofit arm of what you do, because like you said, it's so necessary, and there are not enough organizations, and there are so many veterans and so many out there that are hurting, because I mean, I never thought I would see, veterans that are homeless, and when you talk to them, because my husband he's passionate about veterans, and so he'll stop and he'll actually talk to them. They'll be holding up signs, they need money for food or whatever. It's a lot of that out here. And so he'll actually stop and talk to them sometimes. He said, and when you hear their stories, he was like, baby, it's so heartbreaking, because they got out and they didn't know what to do with themselves when they got out. It was such just like you say, a transition for them that they didn't make. It's like they didn't make the leap. And I think that your program, it sounds like it's a bridge. So I'm excited just to hear that, you have this mission that you have this mission. And I don't know, like I said, I see you doing seminars and workshops like all over the country. So
that's awesome, because you're like the second person that said that to me. That's why I'm like, yes, confirmation.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like when you were talking, I could see it. It's like, okay, she's supposed to be doing workshops and seminars. And the thing is, you know, you can even, there's all kind of ways you can start that, because I mean, the thing is, you know, your mission has to get out there because you have such a desire and a passion. I can hear it in your voice to help, you know, and to make sure that we don't have all these homeless veterans because they can't transition, because they can't move from the military sector to the civilian sector, because, you know, there's a difference. There needs to be people that fill that gap. And just like you said, there are lots of organizations, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wow. I truly enjoyed talking to my sister, Lenita. We have actually probably known each other for almost 2 years, really, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it has been.
Because we meet in Stacy's group, maybe?
Which group are you talking about?
Stacy, did we meet in Stacy Walker's group?
I'm not sure. I know we met in some group, but I can't remember. You know, it's one thing I love about collaborations, and what I love about virtual communities is because you actually build those relationships and you actually create genuine relationships for those that actually really want a relationship.
Right.
I just can't remember the group that we were part of, but it's like we started collaborating. You were on a live, and I was on one with Jacqueline, and then you know we were on another one together. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was. And it's funny because she was asking me about doing the last one, and I said, I really like to do it with Lenita. I was like,
yeah.
I said, I like when she's on there. I said, because we have a good time. I said, and we also, you know, have really good conversations, you know. And so she was like, oh, okay, yeah. Because she asked me like months ago, and girl, and you know, I had to get my calendar together. And then the other thing is, you know, the time difference is always a little challenge when it's Eastern time and it's the 3 hours for me out here, because
right.
You know, and so I have to, you know, and I was telling her, I said, girl, you know, right now I work Saturday nights. Well, I think now I'm going to every other Saturday night or something. I don't even know. But I was like, I was working Saturday night, so that means Sunday I have to get home and sleep so I can get up early enough to do your
Right.
3 o'clock Eastern time. And I was like, man, so sometimes I'd be like, girl, I don't know, you know, but then I consult the spirit and I said, you know, Lord, should I, you know, is this something I need to do or should I do it? And then the other thing is too, you know, like you girls, almost anything you girls ask me to do, I'll do, because I love y'all like that.
Yes,
so
I love you too, sis.
Come on and let's do it live and let's talk about it or whatever. I don't have I say, okay, you know, and it's certain people that I do like that. You know, whatever they ask from me, if it's something I can do, I do it. But then I also have learned, you know, the value in no.
Oh yeah.
You know, you have to learn that value, especially, you know, like us, when you're just starting out and then you're going to a whole, you know, different place than you've been before, you know, because I tell people all the time, I've been a nurse for 25 years. I've been in the medical field for 27. That's all I know. But I'm learning all these other things as far as business and, you know, and relationships, which, you know, it's a little bit different, a little difficult. And just like you said, introvert, you know, I could be home in the house watching a movie, chilling by myself. I'm good. But anyway, so.
Look, I know exactly what you mean.
Right? You know, you're good. You're good. So tell me your vision for the future for your business and how you expect to, where do you see yourself with your business in, say, 5 years?
So I got like a little shift a little bit since, you know, I'm actually going to be getting promoted soon to Sergeant Major. So
that's awesome. I'm excited about it.
Thank you, sis. But, you know, I really, just like what you put out as far as like workshops and seminars, I see, me constantly expanding. It may not be as fast as I want it to be, but you know what? It's not in my timing, it's in God's timing.
Yes, it
And
is.
so I feel that, within 5 years, it's those workshops, it's those seminars, it's actually speaking in large audiences, outside of social media. It's
Yes.
being in those, speaking to those communities, as far as the importance of emotional health, those type arenas of things that I want to do. That's where I see my business going. More of speaking and workshops and teaching, um, for veterans and for emotional health and resiliency. But it's definitely that. It's definitely a lot of speaking engagements. That's definitely what I see in the
Yeah,
future.
that is awesome. So you have, is your husband supportive of your vision?
So let me just say this. I'm just going to be honest. In the beginning, my husband was like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
No, but it was kind of rocky in the beginning because he didn't know exactly what I was doing. And so once I kept doing it, he knew that I wasn't playing, that this was real. It wasn't like I was just playing like I was in business, but that I actually wanted to go take it somewhere, so he's supportive. He's just not part of the business.
Mm-hmm.
But he is supportive. He'll give me encouraging words. If I get frustrated, he'll always have something to tell me that's the complete opposite of how I'm feeling.
Oh, that's good.
You still need that supporter. You still need
Yeah.
that person that's going to keep you on the right path. And we all have emotions. We have those things that we need to express and not leave them dormant, but actually go through it and talk about it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I do have the support from him with that. So I can say that he has been supportive for me. I do need him for that. So he's been supportive in that aspect.
Well, the thing is I can see that he's going to be involved later on. So, a lot of times they need to see, movement, and they need to see, where you're going, and then they'll jump on board and, be a part of the movement and be whatever it is that you need him to be. That's something that I can see.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just using the gifts that God gave me,
Like, yes.
Right? But that's good. That's important, because so many times, especially as women, we're doing businesses, we have husbands, and and a lot of times if you don't have somebody that's supportive, that's with you, it's really difficult to do. Because you want to do the thing, and you see yourself and you see a vision, but they can't see it, or they're pulling the opposite direction or whatever. It's really hard for us as women, and just like you said, you have to be quite honest with yourself, and you have to kind of say, okay, well, he's not seeing it right now, but at least he's doing the things that he can see to support me and make sure that my mindset stays straight, because I don't know about nobody else, but I need encouragement, because there are days when I'm like, you know what, I'm giving this crap up. There are days when I'm like,
I've had plenty of conversations, girl, on that.
mm-hmm. You're like, you know what, I'm done with this stuff. I done spent all this money, I done did all this coaching, and I done talked to people, and I done did all these courses, took all these funneling classes and these spinning classes and whatever other classes. And you know what? Nothing is working. It's not turning over. People aren't biting. I'm tired, and I'm not doing this no more. And then if you have somebody, that speaks, support in your ear, and I call it speaking life to you.
Yes.
It's like,
yes.
Hey, yeah, I can make it another week or another month.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so this has been a blast. I have enjoyed Lenita so much, as I always do. We always have such a wonderful time when we get on the screen together. So, and I know that you guys have gotten some nuggets from this, and I want to thank everyone for joining me. I want to give Lenita a chance to say some last words and let people know how they can find her. And I'll also be posting her details also in the post as well.
Yes, yes. So again, I would just like to thank you, Tammi, for allowing me to be on your platform. And I would just like to say for those that are actually listening, that it's important for you to really find out what is that thing that you love to do.
Mhm.
Step out your comfort zone. Don't allow others' opinions of you to make you go in another direction. Um, that's like another show. But I just wanted to put that out to you because it's important that a lot of times we live for me, um, I've actually been the type to actually, with the perfectionism that I dealt with, actually listening to what other people say and
Mhm.
actually living for other people. And really, reality is when you start living for other people, you actually aren't living for yourself, and you're not going to find that true fulfillment. So I just want to say to everyone that if that is you, and that's dealing with that just take a step back and really peel back the layers and ask yourself the whys behind it. And if you can't handle it yourself, then get the professional help that you need. But it's time to rise and actually speak your voice, speak your truth,
Yeah.
live for you and not for anyone else, and don't settle. um give the gifts that God gave you. It's time for you to exercise them. It's time for you to use them, because you will lose them if you don't use them. Okay. I'm just saying that. So I just want to put that out to you all. And so you can reach me. I'm on like several platforms, so you can find me on Instagram. My handle is Coach Lenita Speaks on IG. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on my Facebook. My Facebook business page is Tap Into Your Truth with Purple Camouflage Mentor. And then also I have my Facebook community. It's bit.ly/she is perfectly made. So I changed the name of the group, so it's now Soulful Ambitionista, a sacred place for leaders and creatives. So that's where you all can find me. If you have any questions, you can reach me at my corporate email. It's info@purplecamouflagementor.com.
Awesome, awesome. So where did you come up with that name, Purple Camouflage?
So look, this was when I was in Coach Danielle's quick code course, and it just, for some reason, it just came to me because purple, it represents transformation, spirituality,
Yes.
beauty,
Royalty. Yeah.
royalty. You know what I'm saying? So that represents me. So I wanted it to represent, because those that I serve, they're actually looking for a transformation. I want to give that transformation to them, and the spirituality of that transformation as well. And also, it represents emotional neglect, emotional abuse. And one of the things that I focus on is emotional resiliency. So that's one of the coaching trainings that I want to focus on solely when it comes to the emotional resiliency, because a lot of times we have emotional and spiritual empaths that
Mm-hmm.
deal with not addressing those emotional issues from their past,
Yes.
so they can heal. And so in order for you to speak up and speak out, you're going to have to let those things out. So that's part of another reason why I wanted to add the purple for that. Camouflage it's twofold. It represents me as far as me being in the military,
Mm-hmm.
and then it also represents how we conceal our emotions. So
Oh.
again, it goes back to me focusing on the emotional resiliency, emotional freedom,
Mm-hmm.
because that's pretty much what my brand is about, is the emotional freedom. And then the mentor is about me, because that's pretty much what I've done in my military career. And so it's just another capacity, a different capacity of me and my organization when it comes to being that leader for those that are in need of my services. So
Oh, that's awesome. That is powerful. Powerful.
thank you.
That is a mouthful. I'm just, man, I'm blown away and I'm so excited, just to be able to talk to you and, have you come on the show and share, what it is you do and your passion. And it shows through. I just want to, let you know that I can feel your passion and I can see it. And I can't wait to
Thank
see you
you.
in your workshops and your seminars, and I can see it just as big. So So I'm glad that
Like,
you came on. Yeah, so I got you now, when you're on the rise, So
yes.
you're ready to be all over the world and all over the country doing your seminars and your workshops, because you can even also target businesses as well for this type of program, so that they can actually have their people go through that training, even if you're going to do like an online portion of it where, you can send it to businesses and say, hey, this is a training program for your employees, to help them learn emotional resiliency and, how to bounce back and how to, overcome the things that they need to overcome to be more productive employees. I don't know if you thought about it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. All righty. So we're going to get off here right now, and I'm just so excited. Thank you, Lenita, for joining us, and thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
Straight Outta Savannah, talking with Tammi, and we speak to entrepreneurs who are doing things to help move the planet. So if you are one of those entrepreneurs and you'd like to come on my show, you can always send me a message on Facebook. You can send it in YouTube. You can send it on Instagram. I'm on all those platforms. You can also send it in LinkedIn as well. So thank you so much for joining. Bye now.